Okay, I'm here. Ugh. Good morning. Let's see if everything's working. Okay, I'm here. Also, 1 second. Something's missing. The chat is not showing, so 1 second. Also, let me fix something. Alright, I fixed it. Cool. Alright. Good morning, everyone. It is session 48. I kind of figured I'd be waking up around this time, so I feel good. I slept early today, so I feel well rested. But yeah, I'm here. I think I'm gonna make it a rule of thumb that it'll take me around 10 minutes-ish to start my stream, but everything looks good so far, and I'm also double checking on my tablet at the moment. Okay, so today's greeting, conversation practice, question, comments, concerns, suggestions. Today's stream is basically gonna cover whatever we did not finish yesterday. So it was just a question Q&A because we spent largely a lot of our time on the reading that we did. So today is just focusing on the questions. It's gonna be quite short. Watch me say that it's short, and then it turns out it takes up the entire stream. I'm hoping to keep it short just because I only provided a few questions, and since it's just me for today, it's all right. We're just gonna breeze through this very quickly. All right, for greetings. So I'm excited. Today is just let me have my moment for just a second to just get excited that Spy Family Code White is out today. So it is in theaters this week. I know it premiered last week. I think there was like a private viewing, and then yesterday there was a opening mic, not opening mic. It was a I guess you could say red carpet or premiere night. There you go. Another premiere night took place yesterday because I just saw it on Twitter where people were saying, "Oh, the event just started yesterday." And today I bought my today I have tickets for the film tonight, so I'm excited to rewatch the film again. So this is my second time watching it. The first time was in Japan when I was there 2 weeks ago, and I thought it was like a great time for me to just like compare what I did understand about the film before I understood the without like the context, without the without the subtitles to tell me what's actually going on. I was only watching the film based on like what I did know of Japanese and what I understood so far, because since I'm familiar with the show and I've been watching it for like a few years now, I'm kind of able to follow it really well without knowing the context. So I think it's gonna be fun just comparing what I do know and what I don't know. And yeah, I'm excited to hear a lot of people's thoughts on the film after they watch it today. I'm not sure if there are any sold out theaters today, because when I was buying tickets there was a lot of empty seats that people could take, and I decided for myself that I'm actually gonna watch the film 4 times this week. Well, not 4 times, maybe 3 times this week, and it would be my 4th time overall, I would say, watching the film. I think this is the first time I've ever rewatched the same film multiple times just to show my support for a creator and for a company. So very excited for that because I do love Endo's work, and yeah, it's just fun for me to make that observation of, was I able to catch what they were saying in this part of the film, or did I miss it altogether? And it's been 2 weeks, so I can't really say if my thoughts are accurate. I wish I had time to sit down and actually write about what I thought. I'll try to do that before I finish work today, because I know I will have moments where I'm just like having free time and whatnot. And yeah, we'll see my analysis on what I thought before I watched the subtitle, then watching it with subtitle, and then watching it in English this Saturday. I don't normally watch English dubs, I'm gonna be honest, just because sometimes I feel like the voice actors sometimes don't match who they're assigned to. At least that's just my personal opinion. There are some that actually do sound really well. Like, I think Soul Eater was one of the exceptions where I thought the voices were actually really good. The dubs were great matches with their anime roles. And Death Note was another one that was interesting, because I mean, technically I watch things in dub first and into sub, but now I just watch almost all anime. I mean, all of them at this point. All of my anime is in sub, just because I like to immerse myself in the Japanese language. And of course, after my trip, it did show that, you know, like, if you let yourself have like active listening and just trust the process, you are going to be able to speak in Japan, or like comprehend in Japanese, etc. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into our stream. I think today will be a short one, which is fine by me. by all means, it's fine when it's short, because that means I can spend more time preparing for work and whatnot. Okay, so conversation practice, an excerpt of A Quarter Life Crisis. So this is what we covered yesterday. We read this. So if you haven't watched that stream, go ahead and watch session 47, I believe was the previous one. And we went through and read all of this, and I did give a lot of, like, I was gonna say communication discussion with the text. So I thought it would be really fun to just enjoy reading and just like seeing if you guys have been in that situation yourself, or about to feel that way, or if it's something that you felt before and you're reflecting on it. I thought it'd be like a great chance just to talk about this kind of stuff. Okay, so what we didn't cover was, in your early 20s to 30s, did you experience a quarter life crisis? If so, would you like to share when it happened and what triggered the experience? Okay, so I feel like I've answered this yesterday, but since today's a new stream, I'll just re-say it again, and I don't mind. Early 20s definitely felt something. I would say my quarter life crisis happened really early, so it was around before I even reached the 20s. It was when I was 18, and I mentioned before that I was in nursing school, and what happened was I ended up not finishing the program because I had to, or like they decided that they would remove me from the program because I wasn't able to submit my paperwork on time. Again, I'm just like, why? Anyways, that was probably the first time I experienced a huge change in my life, and it was probably the first time in my life where I was so afraid of making mistakes, because I thought this was the end of it for me. I thought I was worthless. I thought I was crying and I was sobbing. I really thought that there was nothing good about me, and from that moment, it was just like, you know, I was just so upset about everything. And I remember I took it to Instagram. Oh my god, I openly talked about it, and I feel embarrassed a little bit that we talked about it, but at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? Younger me needed that. She needed that space, so whatever. I never took down that video. I think I left it on YouTube and Instagram, so it's still there. So I hope people don't come and look for it. It's in a different account, so you will not find it on the Homebody teacher. So yeah. In any case, that was probably the first time I experienced that. And then when I was transitioning from that, you know, that devastating event, I went to college. I was applying to college in the summer, because since I was let go around April, I think it was around spring, late spring, I did my research because I knew, like, you know, I'm not gonna waste my year. That, like, since I have time, or like a 3-month break for myself, I think it was like April or March, I had time before the summer session began, And basically, I was like, let's see. Basically, I remember thinking to myself, like, you're not gonna stay in bed. You're not going to waste this time that you could use to go to school. So do your research. And I decided to myself, you know what? There's a community college near my house, so let's just go there. So I applied to Cypress College, and I went there. Well, basically, when I applied for it, I changed my major 3 times in the same week, in the span of the same week. I was like, nursing, and I was like, nope, let's not do nursing again, because I found out that whatever I completed in ROP cannot be transferable. So I was like, this is useless. So I was kind of upset. I was like, I wasted my time here, and now when you kick me out, it's like I can't take any units with me, so I have to start over. Just saying. Calling out the nursing program. I don't know if it's still the same from back then. That's really messed up. It's like, come on. Obviously you want money, so why can't you at least let the students have transferable units? But yeah, that was it back in the day for me. That ROP program, I don't think it exists anymore. I think they closed it down. But yeah, it was kind of frustrating that I spent like 2 years in the program. Like I started in my junior year. I remember after I finished my junior year, I went into the summer, and that summer I took the program. So it's like I literally spent 2 years of my life going to the ROP program and learning learning skills for nursing. It was very frustrating that I wasn't able to transfer whatever I had from then. And then I just had to start over. So yeah, so I come to community college, and I decided I'm gonna go to my English program. And I was like, no, I should do music because I want to be a singer. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go back to English again. And then I was like, oh my god, I don't know what I want to be. It was so frustrating because the thing was, I really wanted to become a singer, an expert at it. And the thing was, they don't offer courses where it's like singing for modern music. It's more like singing for classical or opera. And jazz classes, those were all the ones that were being offered, and also choir as well. So I was like, I don't want to take this, I want to have something that's my interest. I want to do covers or something like that. So at the end of the day, I was like, I can't really do much with my music major. It's a competitive field, and I heard a lot of stories about music theory where I was kind of intimidated. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can do music as my major. So just to keep things safe and feel more secure of my decision, I decided to take a course called, let me see if I still remember it. I think it was a course on trying to figure out it was counseling. There you go. It was a counseling course. So counseling counseling on careers, I think, or career counseling class. I think that's what it was. As far as I remember, sorry if you hear those dropping noises, that's my ice maker machine. It's working again, so that makes me happy. Anyways, I took a career counseling course, and basically this course just made me think about everything of my life, and I thought it was really useful for me because I walked away knowing myself better than before. It also really opened my eyes to see what kind of person I was, personality wise, your MBTI, knowing, I think there was another test that I took. So it was kind of like your personality test, and then they offered a list of jobs that was recommended for your personality. And there's another test that I took, and that just showed me that the jobs there, it was a different test. I can't remember what it was, but basically these 2 personality tests just made me compare okay, what is it about myself that would work out for this career. So interestingly, music did show up in both of them. Nursing also showed up in both of them. And I also saw teacher was in them too. And I remember I had more. I don't remember where I stored that paper because that paper is so special to me. So I did not get rid of it. And I thought what was so cool was if you actually look into the list, if I can't find the paper and show it to you guys, there's actually something there that says English teacher in I think one or both of them. And I thought that was pretty cool that I kind of knew one of my pathways was in there, and I didn't even know I wanted to be an English teacher at the time. So I just knew that I would oh, sorry, let me just rephrase that. English teacher as in like an ESL, EFL instructor. I didn't know I was gonna pursue that route at all. I just thought, you know what, with English, I would just want to be an author. An author was one of the choices too as well. So it's just like shows like everything that I was interested in, it did show up in the list. But what mattered to me was I needed stability. Financial stability was really important to me. So I decided, you know what, I can always write a book in the future. I don't have to take a course on that. It's fine. I trust myself in terms of my creativity. Like, I'm able to do that. And then I told myself, like, you know, I will eventually make my way to write a book someday. Because, I mean, there's a lot of successful authors who hit it big by just submitting work, even though they didn't take, like, a writing course, whatnot. So why not? So I'm just trusting the process. So I said, like, maybe one day I'll write a book if I become big or something. And, or maybe if I just felt the need, like, I want to write a book, then I'll do that. So ultimately, my choices went down to, from English, where would I go with it? I was like, okay, teacher, I guess. Because teacher, we all need teachers. I'm sure there's no shortage of teachers. And they're always in demand, so why not? So I decided to become a teacher. And I found out that I really loved education more than I thought. And it makes more sense because when I went through school, education was important to me. I did my best to be an honor roll student and stay as one of the most intelligent groups in my school. I was just in that group of students that like to surround myself with people who were smart, because I felt like being smart had, I don't know, power for me or something like that. It was also like prestige and reputation. It made me look to know that I was smart. And what I did was, of course, with being smart, you get a lot of like awards for it. So I remember back then, I still remember, there's this school called Lexington Junior High School, and we had this one amazing principal called Dr. Carpenter. He invented this idea called rolling hard with a gold card. So we had a like gold card with our picture on it, and basically it just basically, if you worked hard, you get a gold card. And basically what that does is that you get discounts for certain activities and events, and you always get like, I think you had privileges. Like, for example, if you have a gold card, you can go to the gold card line. So that means it's like an express pass that people can get their food early and stuff. And it was just nice to have that, just to be recognized that, you know, you're smart and you're able to do that. But unfortunately, there was an issue that caused the gold card to go away. And that was when a student's parent was upset that, you know, like, why are these kids getting privileges and my kid isn't? Because what if my kid is like this or that? And I can't remember the drama, but yeah, I remember they mentioned that in the school announcement that we had to get rid of the gold card and the platinum cards because of this complaint. And I was like, man, that's actually a really good motivation for the kids if we had the platinum and gold cards. But, you know, what can we do for the students who just genuinely don't know? Like, I see the disadvantage of it, because I'm like, you know, not everyone can be intelligent in terms of like studying and stuff. But in any case, it's like, you know, they can be intelligent in other ways, but just not through academics. And basically the card was only rewarding those who were academically intelligent. But anyway, sorry, I just totally went off topic for a moment. Yeah, so back to the case. I was so invested into education ever since I was so young. So I kind of figured, you know, I guess it would be interesting to go from this approach. And surprise, surprise, I really loved it, because I was starting to see the meta applications of education. And from that point on, I was actually very observant of how teachers taught the class. And I paid attention to that kind of at the back of my head because, yeah, it was like things I didn't expect that the teacher would do. You didn't ask yourself, okay, why did they teach this? Why did they teach that? What does it do for the student? What are they learning? Is it matching their subject matter, etc.? So I just realized I really love that. Like, it was very interesting. But yeah, I thought to myself, okay, I like education. I love seeing this meta awareness of it, but what do I want to be? Like, when I thought about it, I'm like, maybe I could be a middle school English teacher. And I heard horror stories about that. I'm like, middle school kids can be kind of something else. And I'm like, okay, what about high school? Because high school is doable. So I decided to go observe my teachers from high school. And I came in to just observe them and see what they were teaching. And I was just like, not really feeling it, you know? Because I'm like, these teachers teach the same thing. I don't know how they're not sick of it at this point, etc. And then, yeah, that was like basically it. It was just observing teachers. And then writing notes on it. And I realized, you know, maybe I just don't know. I don't know if I want to be a teacher anymore, because although maybe the teachers from these high schools, I mean, these were teachers I admired from my high school, because I went to my high school to observe my favorite teachers. So as much as they were fun to go to their class when it was like my turn to come in and stuff, I kind of realized if you do this multiple times a day, don't you get sick of it? That was like one of the questions in my head. I'm like, don't you get sick of repeating yourself 6 times a day or something like that? And I'm like, I don't know if I want this anymore, because I'm anxious. Like, I have to repeat myself multiple times a day. That's tiring. And then you got to deal with kids who are like, some of them are matured, some of them are still in the developing phases. You know what I mean by that? So I'm just like, gosh, do I still have to do management in class too? That's annoying. So I told myself, okay, I don't know what I want to be anymore. And then that's when I got lost all over again. And that was definitely another another crisis that I experienced, was just feeling lost, not having stability. And that's something you will constantly feel throughout your 20s and 30s. So, yeah, it's just like it's an endless loop of not feeling stable, but feeling, okay, I kind of know where to go, but also not there yet. That's the kind of feeling I felt, at least. And then from there, I was like, I told my friends at the time, I was like, I don't know if I want to be an English teacher anymore, because I could always do, like, there's rhetoric, which was one of the teachers that I worked with. There's also English literacy. There's also creative English teachers. And I was like, you know, I might even be an English creative teacher if it comes down to it. I can do poetry. I can do anything with anything related to creativity and stuff. And then my teacher was like, let's see. And then, that's not my teacher. My friend was like, why not do ESL? Try teaching English in Indonesia. She's like, do some research. And I'm like, okay, so I did that. And then, of course, everything from there was history. You guys know the rest from there. And even though I kind of cemented, like, this was my plan. I want to be an ESL teacher, a language teacher, linguistics, whatever. I realized that even though that's where I wanted to go, I still felt a lot of like quarter life crisis. Even prior to turning 25, it was just a lot, like thinking about, okay, this and that, and just not knowing where I was going with this, you know, like you don't ever feel secure. That's the first thing I want to say. Like, you feel like if you know what you want to be, you're very fortunate. If you don't know what you want to be, embrace it, because sometimes you don't know your direction. There will be just an occasion in your life where it will trigger an opportunity for you to just explore something. And then, of course, if you really like it, if you kind of feel like, oh, this gives me meaning to my life, or this feels like I'm being purposeful with my life, then why not pursue it, you know? So yeah, a lot of the times when I did experience quarter life crisis, the trigger, as far as I've recognized in my retrospect, is stability. That will always be the number one thing that will trigger my episode of life crisis. It's just not feeling like stability in something. And to live in that mindset where I constantly felt like I was unstable, when it came to like finances or feeling stability in life in general, it just makes me feel very anxious, you know? So that anxiety still continued even after I graduated with my undergrad program. It's because when I graduated, it was when COVID happened. So I graduated in 2020, and COVID lockdown took place in March 2020, I believe. So I literally had like March, April, May, 3 months of COVID lessons for my undergrad, and I graduated from there. And then with COVID ongoing, it was just like, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, did I say 2020? 2022. That's when I graduated. My bad. Yeah, so in 2022, I graduated my undergrad. And then that was when I was like, I don't know if I can become a teacher right now because it's COVID. Everything's locked down. So it also turned out that this was a perfect time for a lot of online classes to take place. Zoom became a platform for teaching and learning. And then Discord also eventually made its way to become a classroom, right? So I noticed some of my programs use Discord as a classroom hub. And then for me, I started to take an interest in live stream teaching because I found this job called Hello, where they used to offer live streams for the students and the teachers. So anyone could live stream and have a conversation and practice. And it was just a very social environment. Like, everyone enjoyed that. And I really love that aspect. So that's why I ended up making the choices that I made. And this is why I'm live stream teaching now. It's because I enjoyed that time. And now here I am just streaming on YouTube. But in any case, sorry for just going down this ramble. But yeah, basically, it doesn't end. In summary, for your 20s to 30s, you will constantly feel a quarter-life crisis if you don't recognize your triggers. And it's also important to just, be patient with yourself. And just like what we read yesterday, reflect, write notes, record, put everything on paper so you can kind of organize your thoughts. Because for me, my brain gets really noisy, and it's like I have so many things going in through my head when I'm spiraling. So it's nice to see it on paper, so I can see and identify, okay, what is a priority? What do I need to do that needs more of my attention, etc. So yeah, recognize your triggers if ever. And now that I'm in my late 20s, now this is the part where I want to discuss about what happened 2 weeks ago. Basically, after my trip in Japan, that's kind of prior to my trip to Japan, I was kind of having a quarter-life crisis. I was thinking, do I want to stay in California, And this is kind of big for me because it's gotten to a point where my life has gotten so comfortable here. I'm making pretty good money right now in terms of my salary, which is why I wake up early in this morning and then I go to my other job, my main job, and that pays really well for me. And I could always stick with it if I wanted to. I could stick with that job. I could be comfortable with the money I'm making at the moment, but is it worth it? That's the question I always ask myself. Because as I mentioned yesterday, my perception of life is that you work until you die, basically. It's like you're going to be stuck doing this for the rest of your life. So why not do something that you actually enjoy or don't mind doing? Because you're going to be constantly going through this forever at this point of your life. Not unless you want to start over and go back to school, grab a new skill, become an expert in something else, or be trained for something else. And I don't want to do that. Because the thing was, I've already done jobs where I don't care about it. Like, for example, I did I worked with food, like being a waitress, ice cream scooper, whatever, like team manager, whatever. But in any case, those jobs I really did not enjoy. Even though some of them that paid me really well, it still made me feel like, man, this kind of sucks. So, and it also made me feel like I dreaded coming to work. Because, I know back in the day I was like, I'm indifferent to it. But at some point I was just like, I feel so unhealthy being here. And that's when I realized, I can't be here anymore. And yeah, it's just very frustrating to be in a place in my life where I felt like, I can't, be myself in a way, or like I'm not growing somewhere that's supposed to stimulate me. So yeah, that was my issue. And with this current job, or like my current place in life, I was just thinking, do I want to leave California? Like, I really made, I am home. I am investing more on my interests and hobbies. I've started collecting stuff here. This is why this whole chaos that's happening in this background and whatever. So it's just like, if I were to move, I have to leave all of this stuff behind, because I can't really bring them with me to another country, not unless I'm deciding to move there and stay there. But at the same time, I'm just like, I can do that. I mean, I can if I want to, but do I want to? Do I want to start over? Do I want to go to a new place? And then I just kind of had this moment where I'm just depressed, because I was like, I don't know if I want to move, because all of my friends are here in California, my support system, my hobbies are here. I made a community for myself. I'm just so happy here. But the one thing that I'm not happy in is that my growth in my career, because what did I study for is a question I asked myself. It's like, for what reason did I study this field if I'm just gonna neglect it, my diploma, But because I know there's so much more to me, and I believe in myself in that sense. I could offer more things if I if only I invested in myself, you know? And I don't want to regret it. And that's always the number one thing I always tell you guys is that I fear regret. So I decided, you know what? We're gonna do this. So my trip to Japan that following week was what I needed. It was very healing for me. As much as I was tired going to so many places, and sorry for scratching my nose. My nose is so dry and itchy. My trip to Japan made me feel like I was linguistically alive. Like, what I mean by that was I felt excitement for learning a language for the first time in a long time. It's, I felt motivated to do things that I want to do, you know? And then, I just felt like it was so fun to learn Japanese on the go. It was just like, kind of like when I talk to someone, it's like new word, new word, new word, new word. And that excitement of like, I want to learn that word, like so I can understand, so I can say it back myself. It was just that excitement for it. And of course, there's a lot of opportunities to learn or teach English in Japan. One concern that I do have that comes back to me is always going to be like, I'm not going to make enough money. That's always my issue. And that's my biggest concern, because I would definitely make enough to survive in Japan and live comfortably, but my concern is paying off student loans, sending money back to my parents when they need it. I'm only getting paid once a month, and it's just really stressful to be in that situation where it's like, I need more money, you know? So finances is gonna definitely plummet. So I hate to say this, and I mean, it does make sense too. It's just, you know, US has a stronger currency, and we do make more here, and I do make more here in California. But the problem is that in terms of pursuing ESL in America, the jobs are not always consistent. So stability in terms of keeping that job and growing with it, it's constantly gonna not happen. And that's why if ever anyone sees my resume has multiple education stuff, because like a lot of times they're like, it's like a call in when they need you, then they'll call you in kind of thing. And that was very frustrating for me. So yeah, that's what happened. And then it was kind of upsetting, you know, just seeing myself like be with the company for 1 year, and the next thing you know, they don't call me anymore. And I just realized at that point they don't need me, and you just got to find yourself a new job. So that's why there was a moment in my life where I worked like 7 jobs, and because I accepted all 7 of them because they were all on call and they were not guaranteed that they were going to give me a position. And this was like sometime around my undergraduate year when I did that. So yeah, as a result of it, I kind of realized, you know, I want a job where I can just stay in one place and then just grow with it. That's what I really want. And for me to have that, I think the best way for me is I just got to move abroad. And I kind of realized this was my ultimate decision, because when I applied to become an ESL teacher, at the time I was planning to move abroad and move in with my partner at the time. And I kind of knew like, oh, it was perfect because I had a partner abroad. I could move in with him in his country. We would get married or something like that. And my career would work out really well because my degree would allow me to be in that state, you know? But now where I'm just like, I'm in California, I'm not growing, because I kind of set myself up for failure for just staying here. So I just realized, you know what? I'm enough beating around the bush. It's time for me to go. So I decided, I'm hoping, like, this is my hope. Like, my hope is I will finish my job in the next 2 months, and then I can still technically work for this job and be an online teacher, and that's fine with me. But I do plan, like, I want to move to Japan already, because I feel like it was a very healing trip. It was a good moment for me to just have, to explore the area, to find work over there, and also, I think I will grow more just being in a different country because of my degree, and we'll see where it goes from there, you know? So, like, I have plans to move this year if I'm able to. I'm keeping my goal high for that. I'm trying to save enough money so I can move. And then, yeah, that's basically my plans. So, yeah, all of this, that trigger was basically leading up to making this final decision with my life. That if I had to choose between comfortability and growth for my career, since I'm young, I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go choose my career right now because that's the chapter where I'm in my life. And then later when I grow up, I can come back and choose comfortability. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. Comfortability. So I think later down in life, I'll come back. Yes, I will come back. I do plan to go back and forth between Japan and America if I save up enough money. And it's just like, it would be nice just to dance, you know. I'm gonna miss my dance community so much because the friends I've made, they're all fantastic people. And what a shame too, because I would have loved to pursue the dance for, like, for example, I just got introduced to African tango. It's new, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna miss that. Also, hi Hans and Risha, good to see you. Alright, so next subcategory we have how did you cope? How did I cope with all of this? Writing, journaling, just like we read in the article yesterday. If you feel lost or if you feel like you don't know where to go with your life, just write. You know, write it on a journal, something that's private to you. And if you need to ask for help, you know, ask friends, ask people who are older than you and ask for their perspective. Don't ask them to tell you what to do. Ask them of like their similar experiences and how did they go about with it. It might inspire you to find a direction in yours too. And of course, always take every advice as a grain of salt because this is your life. It's not theirs to live and you don't have to follow what people tell you. So just take the ones that are applicable to you. That's how I cope through all of this. And of course, it was really nice to have a supporting network of friends who could be there to lend an ear and support you. And that, hello Hans, good to see you. He said, hi professor. Here we go. Okay. Did you ask for help? The second question. Of course, I asked help a lot, which was really good for me because I did not see asking for help as a weakness. I know back then I did have some sort of pride for myself. So I did ask for help and I was telling myself, you know, you need to ask for help when you don't know. Because if you want to be prideful and you want to be whatever about yourself and you care too much about your image or something, you're just gonna waste more time. That's what I always want to remind myself is that, you know, don't waste your time, don't regret it. Just when you need help, ask for it quickly so at least you can find a solution faster. Which was why I'm so grateful that I was able to do something like that. Like, I'm grateful for myself in terms of not being like, you know, being someone who's like who cared too much about my image. I didn't care. I'm just like, you know what, I just wanted a direction, so please help me and find that direction. So yeah, I was able to find the solutions to my answers very quickly. Okay, next question. Do you think a quarter-life crisis happens only once? Based on what I told you guys earlier, no, absolutely not. You will not experience a quarter-life crisis once in your life. You will experience it multiple times, and usually it snowballs in a way. So they always have some sort of they have a common ground of like what triggers it, which is why I mentioned it's important to recognize your triggers and why and like what to do with them. So like I already mentioned to you guys, financial stability or stability in general for me is my trigger. So if I don't feel financially stable, if I don't feel like my career is stable, all of that is a trigger for my quarter life crisis, my life crisis to come in. So I need something that grounds me and I feel that makes me feel like, oh, this is definitely gonna work out. So yeah, no, I don't think it only happens once. If you are one of the lucky few that only experiences these life crises once, then lucky you. Also, hello, married to English, good to see you. I think that's Taylor, yeah? I think that was your name, I can't remember. You were teacher Jeremy's, you are teacher Jeremy's partner, I believe. So good to see you, thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, so I don't think quarter life crisis happens only once. It can happen multiple times. Okay, last question before I end the stream basically. And like I mentioned, I said it was gonna be a short stream, but it's only been like good 20 minutes I think from my end. Let me double check. 40 minutes, never mind. This is good enough. What is an advice or two that you would like to share with those who are just entering early adulthood? So like 18 plus. Also, those of you in the chat, if you want to say anything, you're welcome to. You don't have to. An advice that I would share with those who are entering early adulthood, be open-minded. That's what I want to tell people. I mean, and also read the article that I just showed you guys yesterday. It's so comforting to know that you have someone who went through it beforehand. So be open-minded, ask for help. Don't be afraid to allow yourself to learn, you know, because I want to help people see that asking for help is an opportunity to learn, you know. So if it helps you change your mind on that, that would be awesome, because sometimes people look at help for weaknesses, but asking for help is an opportunity to learn new knowledge. You learn something new about someone every day. You also learn something new about yourself as well. And you never know if just that single opportunity to ask for help can just pave the way of your direction and where you want to go in life, you know? So don't be afraid to ask for help. Look at it as wanting more knowledge if needed. So that's my advice, at least for adulthood, is just, you know, be open-minded. Another thing I could share as an advice is don't be afraid of the unknown, because that was something I struggled with when I was in my early adulthood. Was I feared not knowing what was going to happen next. That's why my character or my personality today is I'm someone who's over prepared, which is reflected in, like, you know, when I carry stuff in my bag, I always have everything. It's because I'm always prepared for the unexpected. You don't have to be like that. You don't have to be like me in terms of being over prepared. You just gotta be open-minded. You gotta be okay with it. Let life do its thing and let yourself experience it, basically, because you never know what comes in your direction. You don't know if that opportunity or event will change the course of what you want to be in life. And don't be afraid to pursue it, you know. Don't be afraid of starting over, because it can be fun to start over on a clean slate. And it's just more opportunities, more adventures for you. And that's something I always want to remind myself too, because sometimes, you know, I am realistic when it comes to my career. If at some point I get tired of teaching, I know for a fact that I will pursue other routes. So I know at some point I might go back to school for something else if this doesn't work out. So I'm just keeping it, you know, I'm keeping it realistic and real for myself. But yeah, that's it for today's lesson, basically. So we basically we basically completed the course for today. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream just because of I have to prepare for other things right now, and I actually want to take a shower this morning because I'm getting ready for a fun event later this evening. But yeah, that's about it. Hans also say it's okay to mess up, just learn from it. Great advice. I love that. Thank you, Hans. Yeah, so, like, you know, just be open to a lot of things. This is my best suggestion or reminder for you guys. Okay. So questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, if you have any, feel free to let me know. Again, I'm always active on Discord, so if you want to join that, my Discord group, go ahead and find the link in the description on YouTube, or go to my profile page and click the link in my profile, find the Discord button, and then you're in the group. So yeah, feel free to let me know what your thoughts are on today's lesson. And well, it was basically a continuation from yesterday, because we still talked about quarter-life crisis. Next week we'll be talking about midlife crisis, and I feel like it's a great time to talk about this while I'm still young, because, you know, years go by really quickly when you're busy, when you're having fun. Time flies very fast, and I'm getting closer to 30, so it's just like, oh my god, I want to enjoy what's left of my youth. And then when I get to my my midlife crisis, I think it would be fun to see what my answer was when I was at this age. And then at that age, I'm curious of what my mindset and what my priorities will be at that time. So yeah, I think it's just fun to have these videos as like recordings or evidence of a time where I had this mindset, you know? Alright, so I'm going live on YouTube and Instagram every Tuesday to Thursday at 5 a.m. I'm starting to get back into the groove of things, so I'm happy. Yeah, I'm coming back, so this is awesome. And we have English for Everyone every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So yeah, stay tuned for more conversation and grammar lessons next week. I will see you by that time. I'm very excited because this evening I'm watching Spy Family, the movie, and then right after that I'm gonna go to my dance studio and celebrate a birthday. So I'll be dressing up using my kimono that I purchased from Japan. The one thing I'm concerned about is like, how am I gonna dance in that? It's so long. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, hopefully before then. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and go, you guys. I gotta get ready for this whole day. And Hans, thanks for joining me. I'll see you at the dance tonight. But yeah, see you then, guys. Bye, everyone. Have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Eat something, drink water, stay healthy, hydrated, etc. And yeah, I'll see you next week on Tuesday morning for the next conversation practice. Take care, everyone. Bye.